Hello everyone. I am Dr. Sawan Dharmpuriwar, Associate Professor, Department of English, Vidyasagar Kala Mahavidyalay, Khairi, Vijayawada, Ramdi. Today, we are going to discuss various literary terms. These literary terms are prescribed in the syllabus of BA final year, semester 6, English literature course of RTM Nagpur University. मित्रांनो, आज आपण लिटररी टर्म्स यावर चर्चा करणार आहोत. एकूण 8 लिटररी टर्म्स आपण बघणार आहोत आणि या लिटररी टर्म्स नागपूर विद्यापीठाच्या BA सेमिस्टर 6च्या इंग्लिश लिटरेचर या अभ्यासक्रमात दिलेल्या आहेत. So let us begin with our discussion of literary terms, or rather we are going to learn 8 literary terms today. Before we move on to the literary terms, let us take the definition and meaning of literary terms. Literary terms are the devices used by the writer to make their writing better. Literary terms refers to the typical structures used by the writers in their literary works to convey their message in simple and effective manner to the readers. When employed properly, the different literary terms help readers to appreciate, interpret, and analyze the literary work in more proper way. So we can say that literary terms are the devices which are used by the writer to make his writing much better. की एखाद्या लेखकाद्वारे, एखाद्या कवीद्वारे आपलं लेखन अधिक चांगलं बनवायसाठी ज्या साहित्यिक डिव्हाइसेसचं, ज्या साहित्यिक साधनांचं, ज्या साहित्यिक संज्ञांचा उपयोग ज्या साहित्यिक संज्ञांचा उपयोग लेखक करतो आहे त्या साहित्यिक डिव्हाइसेसला, साधनांना लिटररी टर्म्स असं संबोधल्या जातं. At the same time, these are the typical structures. Literary terms are the typical structures used by the writers in their works to convey their message in more effective and simple manner. की वाचकांपर्यंत आपल्या साहित्यिक कृतीमधला संदेश, साहित्यिक कृतीमधलं कंटेंट अधिक प्रभावीपणे, अधिक साधेपणे, अधिक व्यवस्थितपणे वाचकांपर्यंत पोहोचवण्यासाठी ज्या टर्म्स लेखक वापरतो आहे त्यांना लिटररी टर्म्स असं म्हणतात. At the same time, when these literary terms are used properly, then readers can better appreciate, better interpret and analyze the literary work. एखादी साहित्यिक कृती वाचताना, त्याचा आस्वाद घेताना, तो आस्वाद अधिकाधिक चांगला बनवायसाठी, त्या साहित्यिक कृतीचं अगदी योग्य प्रकारचं अनालिसिस किंवा विश्लेषण करण्यासाठी, त्याचा योग्य तो अर्थ काढण्यासाठी, अर्थाची उकल करण्यासाठी या लिटररी टर्म्स नेहमीच वाचकाला सहाय्य करतात आहे आणि लेखकाला आपलं म्हणणं अधिक प्रभावीपणे मांडण्यासाठी लिटररी टर्म्सचा नेहमी उपयोग होत असतो. That's why these are the literary devices used by the writer to make his writing much better, much nice, much effective. So one by one, we will try to learn these 8 literary terms which are given in the syllabus of BA final year semester 6 English literature course of RTM Nagpur University. The first literary term that we are going to learn is comic relief. Comic relief is an interruption in a serious work, especially in a tragedy, by a short humorous episode. This short humorous episode can be a dialogue, can be a comic scene, can be an entry of a comic character. The interruption of these short comic scenes characters, or speeches provide relaxation after moment of seriousness in tragedy. की एखाद्या शोकांतिकेमध्ये, एखाद्या नाटकामध्ये जेव्हा अत्यंत दुःखद प्रसंग होतोय, त्या अत्यंत दुःखद प्रसंगानंतर प्रेक्षकांच्या चेहऱ्यावर पसरलेली उदासी, त्यांच्या मनावर पसरलेलं औदासिन्य दूर करण्यासाठी जेव्हा नाटककार एखाद्या काय म्हणू आपण कॉमिक एपिसोडची निर्मिती करतोय, कॉमिक सीनची निर्मिती करतोय, किंवा एखाद्या कॉमिक कॅरेक्टरची एंट्री नाटकामध्ये दाखवतोय, की नाटकामध्ये वाढलेलं जे काही ट्रॅजिक ऍटमॉस्फिअर आहे ते त्याला रिव्हेल करता येईल आहे, कमी करता येईल आहे, थोडस ते त्याच्यावर त्याची जी काय म्हणू आपण जे दुःख आहे त्या दुःखाची तीव्रता कमी करता येईल आहे, यासाठी ज्या कॉमिक गोष्टींचा उपयोग नाटककार नाटकामध्ये करतो आहे त्याला कॉमिक रिलीफ असं म्हणण्यात येतं. अँड देन द फेमस एक्झाम्पल ऑफ दिस कॉमिक रिलीफ आर पोर्टर सीन इन मॅकबेथ आफ्टर द मर्डर ऑफ किंग डंकन. When that murder is revealed, when people are coming to see that whether King Duncan is in proper state or not, at that time after the murder of King Duncan in Macbeth, the porter scene is created by William Shakespeare. In the same way, gravedigger scene offers comic relief in the play Hamlet. The second literary term that they are going to learn today is closet drama. As the name implies, closet drama is a literary composition, is a drama written in the form of a play, or rather, closet drama is a literary creation, literary composition written in the form of a drama intended for reading in closet. Closet means a private room, a study room. This drama is generally not acted on the stage, it is only meant for the private reading. So we can say that closet drama is a type of drama which is not meant for stage, but it is meant for private reading. असं नाटक जे नाटक रंगमंचासाठी लिहिलं जात नाही, तर ते वाचनासाठी तुमच्या स्टडी रूम मध्ये बसून किंवा कुठेही बसून तुम्ही त्याचं वाचन करू शकता, पण ते रंगमंचावरती सादर करू शकत नाही, अशा प्रकारच्या नाटकाला क्लोजेट ड्रामा असं म्हटलं जातं. दिस ड्रामा इज नॉट मीन्ड फॉर स्टेज, बट इट इज मीन्ड फॉर reading in the closet. And the famous examples are Beckett, written by Alfred Tennyson, and Atlantine Calydon, written by Swinburne. Next literary term that we are going to learn is existentialism. The philosophy which is concerned with the analysis of existence and the way in which man finds himself existing in this world is called as existentialism. So existentialism is a philosophy, and that philosophy is related with the man's existence in this world, or rather we can say that the philosophy which is concerned with the analysis of existence ही मानवी अस्तित्वाचं विश्लेषण करणारं जे तत्वज्ञान आहे. ऍट द सेम टाइम मॅन फाइंड्स हिमसेल्फ एक्झिस्टिंग इन दिस वर्ल्ड, की माणूस कशा प्रकारे स्वतःचं अस्तित्व या विश्वामध्ये, या जगामध्ये टिकवून ठेवतोय, आणि या गोष्टीचा जो अभ्यास करणारं तत्वज्ञान आहे दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द एक्झिस्टन्शियलिझम किंवा अस्तित्ववाद असं त्याला आपण म्हणू शकतोय. दिस फिलॉसॉफी इज प्रायमरली डेव्हलप्ड इन 20th century. In literature also, many eminent writers put forward this view from their writings. This existentialism was developed during the 20th century, in which man finds himself existing in this world. At the same time, it is concerned with the existence of human being on this earth. And this kind of philosophy was developed in 20th century. And writers also put forward this philosophy, or this what we can say existentialism, from their writings. की अनेक लेखकांनी देखील या अस्तित्ववादाचा पुरस्कार त्यांच्या लेखनामधून केलेला आहे. And the notable example of this particular kind of existentialism which we find in the books of the writer is The Sense of Movement by the writer Tom Gunn. At the same time, John Paul Sartre and Albert Camus are also two well-known writers of this movement. John Paul Sartre and Albert कॅमू आणि त्याचवेळी थॉम गन अशा सारख्या लेखकांनी अस्तित्ववादाचा पुरस्कार त्यांच्या लेखनामधून केलेला आपण बघतोय. सो existentialism is a philosophy which is concerned with the analysis of existence, and that it also studies the way in which man finds himself existing in this world. The next literary term that we are going to learn is folk drama, ज्याला आपण लोकनाट्य असं देखील म्हणू शकतोय. Folk drama is a dramatic activity of the common people, specially meant for the festivals and religious rituals. The common people, the people who are living in the villages, the dramatic activities of these common people, which they usually perform during the time of the festival or the religious rituals. It reflects the customs, language, and attitude of the ordinary folks. की फोक ड्रामा, लोकनाट्य एक अशा प्रकारचं नाटक आहे जे सामान्य लोकांशी, गावाखेड्यात राहणाऱ्या लोकांच्या जीवनाशी निगडीत असतं आणि त्यांच्या लाईफ मधले जे छोटे छोटे फेस्टिवल्स आहेत, धार्मिक जे काही सण आहे, उत्सव आहेत, त्या उत्सवांच्या वेळी मनोरंजनासाठी अशा प्रकारच्या ड्रामॅटिक ऍक्टिव्हिटीचं आयोजन किंवा लोकनाट्यांचं आयोजन ते करत असतात आहे. And these are generally the common people participate as an actors into those folk dramas. And these folk dramas reflects the customs, ways, manners, language and attitude of the rustic people. की जे रस्टिक लोक आहेत, जे गावखेड्यातले साधारण सामान्य लोक आहेत, त्यांचे जे रीतिरिवाज आहेत, त्यांचे जे रूढी परंपरा आहे, त्यांची जी वागण्याची जगण्याची पद्धत आहे, त्यांची जी काही भाषा आहे, त्यांचा जो जीवनाकडे बघायचा दृष्टिकोन आहे, या सगळ्या गोष्टी त्या नाटकाच्या माध्यमातून आपल्याला अनुभवायला मिळतात आहे. Medieval religious drama has an element of the folk drama. मध्ययुगीन जी धार्मिक नाटक आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला लोकनाट्याचे घटक किंवा एलिमेंट्स बघायला मिळतात आहे. At the same time, James Singh was the chief exponent, chief writer of the folk dramas. He was the sophisticated playwright who, what we can say, practiced or wrote this kind of folk drama into English literature. The next literary term that we are going to learn is domestic tragedy. As the name implies, that this particular drama is a form of a tragedy. At the same time, this tragedy is related with the domestic elements. This form of tragedy was evolved in the 18th century. It was amazingly popular during the 19th century, and it depicts the life or depicts the problems of the middle class life, or rather we can say that the drama which is based on the problems of the middle class life, day-to-day problems of the common middle class people, that type of drama, that type of tragedy is called as the domestic tragedy. And the famous examples of the domestic tragedy are Justice, written by Galsworthy, and London Merchant, written by George Lillo. As the name implies, की डोमेस्टिक ट्रॅजेडी, त्याला आपण डोमेस्टिक म्हणजे घरगुती, ट्रॅजेडी म्हणजे शोकांतिका, सामान्य लोकांच्या जीवनावर आधारित, मध्यमवर्गीय लोकांच्या साध्या सुध्या प्रश्नांवर आधारित जे काही नाटक आहे त्या नाटकाला डोमेस्टिक ट्रॅजेडी किंवा डोमेस्टिक शोकांतिका असं म्हणतात आहे. अँड दिस फॉर्म ऑफ ड्रामा वॉज इव्हॉल्व ड्युरिंग द 18th सेंचुरी, की 18व्या शतकात या नाटकाचा उदय झाला. 19व्या शतकात हा नाट्य प्रकार अतिशय लोकांना प्रसिद्ध झाला किंवा लोकांमध्ये खूप लोकप्रिय झाला. And then the famous example of this kind of tragedy are Justice, written by Galsworthy, and London Merchant, written by George Lillo. The next literary term that we are going to learn is comedy of manners. The comedy of manners has its origin during the Restoration age, and the plot of this particular comedy has been taken from the intrigues of lust and greed. It is based on the ways and manners of the 18th century society and people. It tries to present a fine criticism on the false way of life and the problems of the higher society. Comedy of manner is realistic and satirical. We can say that in Comedy of Manners, the writer wants to criticize the false behavior, false language, false ways and manners of highly stylized high society. की जे उच्चभ्रू लोक आहे, त्या उच्चभ्रू लोकांमधलं जी खोटी वागण्याची पद्धत आहे, जी खोटी जगण्याची पद्धत आहे, त्यावर भाष्य करणारी, त्याच्यावर कटाक्ष करणारी, त्याच्यावर व्यंग करणारी जी कॉमेडी आहे, जे नाटक आहे, त्या कॉमेडीला कॉमेडी ऑफ मॅनर्स असं म्हटलं गेलं. आणि याची जी ओरिजिन आहे, उगम जो आहे तो उगम रिस्टोरेशन एज मध्ये आहे. It was what we can say ridicules the ways and manners of the 18th century society people. At the same time, it tries to present or criticize false ways and manners of the society in the realistic and satirical way. एक प्रकारचं विडंबनात्मक पद्धतीने खोट्या जगण्यावरती भाष्य करणारं हे नाटक असतं आहे. And the famous example is Design of Living by Noel Coward. Next, we are going to learn about the comedy of humors. It is also a literary term. We have seen comedy of humors as a type of drama before, but now we are learning it as a comedy of, sorry, as a literary term. So, comedy of humors is a special type of comedy developed in the closing years of the 16th century based on the eccentricity of the human behavior. मानवी स्वभावातल्या विक्षिप्तपणाला हेरून तशा प्रकारच्या गमतीशीर पात्रांची निर्मिती करून जे गमतीशीर नाटक लिहिल्या गेलं, त्या नाटकाला कॉमेडी ऑफ ह्युमर्स असं म्हटलं गेलं. This comedy contains many humorous characters in it. The comic interest is derived from the persons whose conduct is controlled by the exaggerated trait of कॅरेक्टर, की स्वभावामधला एखादा विशिष्ट गुण, एखादा विक्षिप्तपणा आणि त्या विक्षिप्तपणामुळे आलेलं एक व्यंग जे आहे किंवा व्यंगात्मक जी काही वागणूक आहे आणि तशा प्रकारचे व्यंगात्मक वागणारे पात्र घेऊन जे नाटक लिहिलं गेलं, त्या नाटकाला कॉमेडी ऑफ मॅनर्स असं म्हटलं गेलं. दिस कॉमेडी वॉज डेव्हलप्ड बाय बेन जॉन्सन अँड जॉर्ज चॅपमन. The writers like George Chapman, writers like Ben Jonson developed this kind of drama in English literature. And then the famous example of comedy of humors is Every Man in His Humor, written by Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson यांचं Every Man in His Humor हे नाटक आपण या प्रकारातलं एक उत्कृष्ट उदाहरण म्हणून देऊ शकतो आहे. So the last literary term that we are going to learn today, that is given in the syllabus, is heroic drama. As the name implies, this drama is based on the exploits of some great hero. एखाद्या पराक्रमी पुरुषाच्या जीवनावर आधारित असणारं, त्याच्या शौर्याच्या पराक्रमाच्या गाथेचं वर्णन करणारं जे काही नाटक आहे, त्या नाटकाला हिरोइक ड्रामा असं म्हटलं गेलं. Heroic drama is a kind of tragedy or tragicomedy that came into fashion in the Restoration age. It goes into a direction of the epic. एखादं महाकाव्य ज्याप्रमाणे लिहिल्या जातं त्या प्रकारे या नाटकाची निर्मिती नाटककार करत असतोय. The noble hero usually caught in the conflict between love and the patriotic duty, leading to the emotional scenes. In this play, the life of a hero has been pictured by the dramatist, and that hero is usually in the conflict between his love and patriotic duty and what he has to do in life, but rather that hero chooses to, what we can say, go for some heroic exploit, and he performed that heroic exploit, and that exploit has been pictured in the form of the drama, in the, what we can say, in the heroic drama. And that's why these kind of plays, these kind of dramas which were taking an account of the exploits of some great hero were called as the heroic drama. की एखाद्या पराक्रमी पुरुषाच्या शौर्याच्या गाथेचं वर्णन करणारं जे काही नाटक आहे त्याला heroic drama असं म्हटलं गेलं. This kind of drama was popularized by Dryden and Otway, and the famous example is Aurangzeb, written by Dryden. So these are all 8 literary terms. Means first of all, we'll just take a look at all these literary terms. The first one we have learned is comic relief. Second one was closet drama. Third one was existentialism. Fourth one was folk drama. Fifth one was domestic tragedy. Sixth one was comedy of manners. Seventh one was comedy of humors. And then the last one was heroic drama. So with this, I can say that I have come to an end of my discussion on the 8 literary terms. Those are given in the syllabus of BA final year semester 6 English literature course of RTM Nagpur University. And I can say that you might have understood all those literary terms. And I have come to an end of my discussion on all these literary terms. I hope you might have understood it. Thank you.